Let's talk about what just happened, because this is one of those moments where you don't even need rumors, insiders, or conspiracy theories. Everything played out right in front of us, online, in real time. Prince Harry, a man who once stood for royal duty and discretion, is now publicly tied to promoting Meghan Markle's latest lifestyle venture, including her chocolate branding, and the reaction was brutal. Not mixed. Not divided. Brutal. And the reason it blew up isn't because people hate success. It's because this moment perfectly summed up everything critics have been saying about this couple for years: the confusion, the desperation, the constant monetization of their titles, and the lack of authenticity that people can smell a mile away. The first thing that struck people wasn't even the chocolate itself, it was Harry's role. Here's a man who spent years condemning the media, condemning public scrutiny, condemning commercial exploitation of his family name, now visibly tied to pushing a product linked to his wife's brand ecosystem. And that contrast hit hard. Online reactions weren't subtle. People openly asked, is this what stepping back from royal life was for? Because when you strip away the PR language, this didn't look like empowerment or entrepreneurship, it looked like influencer marketing using royal leftovers. And that perception matters, because public figures don't get to control how their actions are interpreted. What made this worse is the timing. Meghan's brand efforts, from lifestyle products to food-adjacent ventures like chocolate, already sit in a crowded market. This isn't revolutionary. This isn't innovative. Chocolate is one of the most oversaturated lifestyle products on Earth. When you enter that space, you need either unmatched quality, deep expertise, or a compelling story. Instead, what people saw was a familiar pattern: a product launch leaning heavily on celebrity proximity rather than substance. And when Harry's visibility gets pulled into that mix, critics immediately see it as brand dependency, not partnership. And let's be honest, the internet isn't confused anymore. People understand influencer marketing. They understand soft promotion. They understand image-driven branding. So when Harry appears connected to pushing Meghan's product narrative, the reaction isn't admiration, it's ridicule. Memes didn't come from nowhere. Commentary didn't come from nowhere. It came from years of built-up skepticism about sincerity. This wasn't a one-off backlash, it was a release valve moment where public frustration found a clear target. Now let's talk about Meghan's role in this, because avoiding that would be dishonest. Meghan Markle has consistently positioned herself as a figure above commercial gimmicks, someone serious, intellectual, humanitarian-minded. That's how she wants to be perceived. But lifestyle branding, especially in areas like food and luxury goods, undermines that image unless it's executed flawlessly. When it isn't, critics see contradiction. They see someone who criticizes privilege while profiting from proximity to it. They see someone who condemns media exploitation while benefiting from constant visibility. That's not hate, that's pattern recognition. Another major issue here is credibility. Chocolate isn't just a cute accessory product. It's an industry with craftsmanship, sourcing ethics, culinary expertise, and competition from brands that have spent decades earning trust. When a celebrity jumps into that space without clearly demonstrating expertise, people don't feel inspired, they feel marketed to. And once audiences feel like they're being sold an image instead of a product, the backlash writes itself. That's exactly what happened here. The reaction wasn't curiosity, it was cynicism. Harry's involvement amplified that cynicism tenfold. Whether intentional or not, his association made the promotion feel less like a business launch and more like a couple leveraging whatever visibility they still command. For critics, this confirmed a long-standing belief that Meghan's ventures rely on Harry's identity just as much as Harry now relies on Meghan's branding world for relevance. That mutual dependency is uncomfortable for the public to watch, especially when it clashes with their original promise of privacy and independence. And here's the part supporters don't like to hear: this isn't about misogyny or racism, the way criticism is often deflected. This backlash followed the same logic audiences apply to any celebrity brand that feels hollow. We've seen it with failed celebrity alcohol brands, skincare lines, NFTs, wellness scams. The pattern is the same. When the product feels secondary to the persona, people push back hard. Meghan isn't being treated differently here. She's being treated like every other public figure who tried to sell meaning without showing the work behind it. The tone of online ridicule also tells us something important. It wasn't outrage, it was mockery. And mockery is far more damaging. Outrage fades. Mockery sticks. Once a brand becomes a punchline, rebuilding trust is almost impossible without a total reset. People weren't angry about chocolate. They were laughing at the optics. Laughing at Harry. Laughing at the disconnect between their messaging and their behavior. That's a PR nightmare no amount of press releases can fix. What makes this moment especially rough is that Harry's image used to carry moral weight. He was the different royal. The soldier. The mental health advocate. Seeing him associated with what looks like lifestyle influencer promotion feels like a fall from seriousness. That's why critics weren't gentle. They felt disappointed, and disappointment often turns cruel online. When public figures downgrade themselves, audiences don't whisper about it. They broadcast it. At the core of all this is a simple truth. People don't hate Meghan Markle's success, they question its foundation. They question consistency. They question authenticity. And when Harry appears to validate a product launch that doesn't align with the values they once championed, the criticism doubles. This wasn't a random pile-on. It was a response built on years of mixed signals, branding confusion, and unmet expectations. If this was meant to be a soft win, it failed. If it was meant to normalize Meghan's brand, it backfired. And if it was meant to show unity and confidence, the reaction proved the opposite. Because confidence doesn't need overexposure, and strong brands don't need emotional leverage. Until that lesson sinks in, moments like this will keep repeating louder each time.